Secretary Burgum, you mentioned that you were recently in Venezuela, spent a couple of days down there. Obviously, a lot's happening around the world. How does that fit into U.S. energy and world energy policies?
Well, Venezuela is the perfect topic for when we've got Mike and Chevron here, who's been one of the ones that's still standing and still operating in Venezuela. But I think it's well known, the whole world maybe knows by now, that Venezuela has the largest reserves, larger than since Saudi Arabia. They've also they're awash with, critical minerals, precious metals, and an opportunity. And this is a country that is actually at the citizen level pro-America. They love the NBA, they love Major League Baseball. The geographic connection between our country and the number of expats of Venezuela that are populating many of your companies. I mean, the mining companies and the oil and gas companies that were with me last week on our U.S. delegation to Venezuela all have members of their leadership team that built their careers in engineering, mining, petroleum in Venezuela, and then left when those assets were nationalized. So, and of course, the geography of 5 days from Venezuela, with all of the refining on the Gulf of America, on the Louisiana and Texas coast, was all designed to handle that heavy crude, which is a perfect synergy with all of the light shale oil that we've got coming in the United States. So economically, whether it's geography or economic systems or prior investments or personal connections, it's a powerful connection. So we've taken what was a sanctioned adversary 2 months ago and then turned that into, literally in 2 hours, set the stage to have now a strategic ally. And I would say I was optimistic when I went down there on Thursday following a trip by Chris Wright, who'd gone down there, my good friend and our great Secretary of Energy, had gone down there a couple weeks before, setting the stage. And of course, but with the leadership under acting President Delcy Rodriguez, they passed a hydrocarbon law in 3 weeks. I mean, you just had 2 senators here talking about how we can't pass stuff in years, decades. Down there, they passed it. When we were down there last week, the mining folks said, man, it would be fantastic if what we had for the mining industry, what you got done in January for the hydrocarbons side. And they said, well, give us your feedback. They were asking American companies for feedback on what should go into Venezuelan law to make it competitiveness. And they said, when do you need the input? You need it by Saturday. Why? Because we're introducing the bill on Monday. And then if they introduced it on Monday and today's Wednesday, I think the bill's already passed. And so this is a country that wants to become competitive for capital from all of you. And I'd say the opportunities there are tremendous. And of course, when we've got the conflict going on in the Middle East, there is no Strait of Hormuz, there is no Suez Canal, there's nothing blocking energy or mineral flow coming out of Venezuela. The only possible thing that could do that is the U.S. Military. But in our hemisphere, to have that as part of a fortress Western Hemisphere energy security policy, fantastic, great, incredible execution by our military and incredibly bold and decisive and courageous leadership by President Trump, who, by the way, the people in Venezuela, right now would see him as the liberator of their country. I mean, they were literally probably put statues up to President Trump in Caracas, because now they have a birth of a new opportunity that all of you can participate in.